Welcome to the Business Building Blocks podcast, where we talk about the struggles and celebrations that leaders and entrepreneurs experience on their journey to success. I'm your host, Kristina, and I'm passionate about helping you achieve massive amounts of success at work and at home. We'll talk about all things people and organizational wellness, share relatable stories, and feature insightful guests because quality people and processes are at the heart of every success story. Ready to learn, grow, and have fun? Let's dive in. Hello and welcome to the Business Building Blocks podcast. I'm your host, Kristina Schmitt. We are basically at Christmas. The day this episode goes live is Christmas Eve, so I'm going to keep this short and sweet and extremely practical. In case you don't know this, because I don't know how clear I've been, but I really struggle with goal setting. I find it cumbersome. I find it difficult to achieve the goals, and I especially find it hard to measure whether we got there or not. And I think a lot of that comes in, especially in the workplace, because we see goals as these big projects, these big things that are outside of our day-to-day. And we put this like separate entity to them versus just, okay, this is part of the role, part of the job, because we all have to make things better, or we have to get things done, or we have to move forward in order to succeed. So what I'm going to give you today is the easiest goal setting process ever. And the reality is it is a process, but it's not about setting the goal. It's about doing the goal. I had a person in one of my programs one time. She's like, I'm really good at goal setting. I'm just really terrible at doing them. I don't execute them ever. Whether you say that's good at goal setting, I mean, we can all set great goals. I love setting goals. It's that accomplishing them that I find really difficult. So I'm going to call it maybe the easiest goal executing process ever, because this is what it's really more about. Because you can set the smarter goal, write it all down and have it all pretty and wordsmithed and looking wonderful. But what really matters in terms of getting it executed is how you're working with and coaching your team member to get it done. So let's get to it because it's Christmas and we got to get going. All right. So here is this process. Most simply, goal setting is what by when. And I've had this discussion several times with certain clients that a task is still a goal. And a task is pretty easy in a lot of our minds, but a goal feels hard. So the idea is we need to take these goals, these strategies, all of this stuff, and break it down into the tasks that need doing. While this might seem like duh to some people, there are a lot of people in this world, and there's probably a lot of people that you manage who are going to struggle with this. And maybe you struggle with it yourself. I'm raising my hand. I do. So this is a very helpful way that I've learned that will help me get the goals done rather than just having them sit there and then being annoyed with myself that I didn't get it done. All right. So this is what we're going to do. Most simple process ever. First of all, go ahead and set that SMART goal. Make the big goal. You need to have that big vision. Okay, where do we need to get to? Like, I'm going to implement this big process, or I'm going to make, $1 million in sales this year, or I'm going, what is the goal? Okay, so go ahead and set that out. And the second step here is what are those steps that we need to do? So these can be the big kind of overarching steps. So let's say we're gonna make $1 million. So, I need to sell these things. I need to talk to this many people. I need to go to this event and I need to go to that event. So here's the things we're going to do. So these big overall arching thing, or let's say we're going to implement a system. Okay. So we need to figure out which system we're going to implement. We're going to figure out a launch date. We're going to create a training plan. We're going to figure out who needs to be trained. We're going to create some documents. We're going to migrate data over, and we're going to have all the training. Then we're going to have some follow-up sessions, some feedback sessions, and done, right? Okay, so that's kind of the big overall arching steps. So then we're going to say, okay, what's getting in the way of me doing it? Okay, is there a big obstacle? There's so many things and I don't know what to do. Okay, so what's one thing that you need to do to get rid of that obstacle? Sometimes that's your whole action plan, is removing that obstacle first, right? So that's what you're going to do right now. But sometimes it's like, okay, well, it's just not starting it. Okay, so what are we going to do? So now you're just going to get into the very, very specific steps that you're going to work on. So this I want you to make these as small as humanly possible, because sometimes you're going to have people on your team. Maybe you're going to struggle with it. You're going to struggle with execution. All right. And sometimes those things, the biggest barrier is I'm just really not motivated to do the task. Like, or it feels too big. I can't possibly start it. Like, finding the right system that we're going to implement feels way too big. So the idea is that we're going to break that step one, down into several very small steps that are not overwhelming. And these might be at different levels depending on who you're working with. Sometimes neurodivergency comes into play where it needs to be really, really tiny, like literally open the file, or like really small. Okay. So this is going to be person dependent on how tiny they get. But overall, let's say we're breaking down I need to go find a new system. All right. So what is step one? Maybe I use AI and I say, okay, what systems accomplish this task that I need? And, you can get a list of the systems right there. You can do a Google search, or, hey, I know I have a friend that just changed over systems. Let me go get that information. So maybe that's the step. Call the friend, or send an email to somebody in the Chamber of Commerce because other small businesses are implementing these systems, and get an opinion from them. Throw it out on social media. People love to give advice on social media. So what little step is going to help with the first research part of it that you have to do? Okay, so lay those things out. And maybe it's all of the above. Maybe it's all those things, but those are all easy, like 5-minute tasks that anybody can do as long as you write them down and say that you're going to do them. So this is where I'm going to say the rubber meets the road. Okay, if you're coaching somebody and they struggle with achieving the goals, helping them plot this out into their day is huge. So you're going to help them break down these bigger goal steps and get them to write down those tiny 5-10 minute tasks. And then you're going to say, okay, when are you going to do those 5 or 10 minute tasks? Put them in your calendar right now. It might feel like it's micromanaging, but they will thank you. Like when they've put it in there and they have to decide what to do, and it's like their calendar is telling them to do this thing that's 5 minutes. It's like, oh, that's easy. I can do that. There's a motivation in executing and getting something accomplished that drives momentum. So when they can start to see movement on this goal, they're really excited to do the next set. So the whole idea here is that you're going to use this simple process. So I'm going to outline it again. So set the big goal, outline the big steps. So the overall steps, what's getting in the way, and what am I going to do right now? Okay, so that's your 4-step process. All right. So outline it. And this, what am I going to do right now, can be a week for right now, or a day for right now, or this afternoon for right now. Like whatever level of right now this person needs help with, this is what you're going to set with them. You're going to have them put in their calendar what they're going to get done throughout the next week. I'm going to say that's probably the ideal, at least for somebody who's kind of struggling, but not totally falling apart, right? Have them book out all of the right nows throughout their week. And then you can come back and you can look at, did you get it done? Easy way to measure success, real time, and to see progress on the goal. So this, number one, it makes sure they don't get off the rails. Number two, it makes sure that you're able to now say, hey, great job. Look at what you accomplished this week. Because if, like, say that finding, the best options, finding the top 10 options of what we're going to do is the week goal, and they accomplished 7 things within that goal, they got a whole step done, right? And whereas if you just said, go figure it out, they probably would have sat there and said, I don't even know what I need to do this week to go figure it out. So now you're making sure they're working on it. You're making sure they're moving forward. You have opportunity to praise them, and you have opportunity to say, okay, well, what got in the way? What got in the way of you accomplishing all 7 of those things, or, 6 and 7, and then now you can adjust very quickly, real time. And it's not this big cumbersome thing. And you're talking about it on a regular basis. And the most important thing, you're having success in the goal. When we can break things down into the most simplest, straightforward, easy to do practical steps, we are making our lives easier. You can take this away to at home. So maybe over Christmas break, everybody always has, you get a little bit of extra time off and you're not going anywhere, and you're saying, I'm going to get this whole house organized. Huge goal, right? What are you actually going to do? What are those 5 to 10 minute tasks that you're going to get done? Like if I have got a mess to clean up, sometimes I say, I'm going to do that box, and then I'm going to do that box. and then I'm going to do that box, right? So you put each of those things on your task list, and it's much, much less overwhelming. And you're going to get a lot of momentum. Sometimes you're going to find you're going to get time back because maybe you booked an hour to do the box and it took you 10 minutes. And you're like, woohoo, look at me go. Now you're feeling super accomplished. And that's how we can drive that self-motivation and give our team members some external kudos on getting it done well. Works well with kids as well. So if you've got some kids at home that need to do some stuff, this is a very practical way to get them to get things done, but also teach them the art of goal setting, so that maybe their boss doesn't have to do this in the future. Yay, win-win. All right. So I'm keeping this short and sweet because I want to make sure you listen to it and you go and you take this away and use it. So that's it for today. If you enjoyed today's episode, or you know someone who could find this really beneficial and really helpful, please share it with them, like it, share a review, share a comment on the YouTube channel. And I hope you have a very, very Merry Christmas. Get some downtime to have some peace and rest with your family. And I wish you all the best in the new year. I'll see you on the next episode of the Business Building Blocks podcast. Thanks for tuning in to the Business Building Blocks podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's next. If you found value in our conversation, please leave a quick review, like, or share. It helps us reach more amazing listeners like you. For more resources and insights, visit KristinaSchmitt.ca, where you can find tools and support to empower your leadership journey. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.